Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Malfunction Junction.
Thank you for joining us.
This is Andrew.
This is Jay.
How's everybody doing? And we'd like to shout out the listeners by shout out our listeners in. Fuck, I forgot to write that down.
We don't know where you are, but you're probably everywhere, hopefully.
Listeners in wherever you are, shout out.
Yeah, appreciate you.
Everybody. That
Thanks for sticking with us through the last few weeks.
You know, it is like I not all the time, but I definitely every now and then will pay attention to the who's listening. Not necessarily who exactly.
We get your address.
But we just take your address and then we find you. Mm-hmm. Anyway, no, we don't do that. But no, we check where people are from, listen from. Mm-hmm. And we have a pretty consistent listener base at the moment. Yeah. And that's pretty cool. It's always, everything's been, honest to God, much better than I've, we gotta pause. Alright, sorry about that. We had to turn off the fan. But yeah, no, we have a pretty solid listener base, pretty consistent at the moment. Mm-hmm. So if you are one of those people, congratulations, you are an
We have listeners in France, in Ghana, in Ghana, Sudan, and Singapore.
Shout out Singapore.
Where Andrew thinks Chinese food is from.
Dude, there is Chinese food in Singapore. Look it up. Look up Chinese restaurant in Singapore right now.
No, I'm not doing that.
All right, fine.
Take your word.
That's okay. I would assume. I was just assuming. Mm-hmm. And I saw it in that James Bond movie. They were in Singapore. That was a Chinese restaurant. There was a Komodo dragon.
Just because they don't have just because they have dumplings there, it doesn't mean
there was
Chinese.
A Komodo dragon in that restaurant.
You're right. Aren't Komodo dragons from Australia?
No, they're from the island of Komodo. But I believe that's like between the two of those two places or something, somewhere near that. I don't know where that is actually.
Yeah,
I think
you're mixing up Komodo and kimono.
No, it's the Isle.
Kimono dragons
like the Isle of
are the
Komodo.
ones with like 12 people jumping around.
Kimono dragon. Hold on.
Hit it.
There we go.
Komodo Island is in Indonesia.
That's between Australia and. What was the other place?
Tasmania is on the south of Australia.
Oh, Indonesia is in that general area. Yeah, it's.
I like that one.
I did like that one. We got to use that one more often. But no, I also we should announce this is not on the docket for this, but I just remembered I ordered a bunch of stickers.
Oh fuck yeah!
So anybody that's in the Denver area that would like a sticker.
Greater Denver metro area.
Inglewood, really.
Yeah.
But I'm not going any further than that.
We're not.
I don't like leaving Inglewood that much.
You send us $11.
Let's go out to the mountains. Let's go out to the mountains. I like going out to the mountains. And I'll get into that a little bit of what I did this week. Mm-hmm. But yeah, we're gonna get some stickers going, and they're gonna be of our logo. They're gonna be the stitching logo, and we have a good amount. We have a couple of different types. We've got the regular stitching logo that we have.
Fuck yeah.
And then we also have a holographic version of coming that there are only a limited edition of. There's only 10 of those.
Oh, nice.
Which is cool.
Can I have one of them?
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
And then I also have the Crucible Media logo coming on the stickers. And then I'm also going to start with our online. We're going to have an online store at some point for that type of stuff, for merch and whatnot. That's right. I'm going to get other stickers going on there, and I've ordered some other stickers going. And then also I got a bottle of hot sauce with that order because I ordered more than $100 worth of stickers.
Does it have our logo on it?
No. It's just it's the Sticker Meal. Shout out stickermeal.com if you want to sponsor us. That'd be sick. But yeah, they just have the Sticker Meal thing on it. Your phone is not charging, by the way.
I've noticed that a couple times.
There you go. Yep. Yeah, so getting stickers. And if anybody would like one, let us know. We'll get you one. Rock it. That'd be sick. It'd be nice to see people rocking that sticker around. We'll have those at some point. I don't know when. but
we'll figure it out.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, let's. I guess
before we get into the weekly check-in, if you haven't listened to the last couple episodes, please go check those out. Big shout out to Andrew, King of the Pivots, for putting those together and figuring that out while I've been in a little bit of a wild situation. Do this one. Narcissism.
Absolutely.
Yep. Proud of you. Thanks for hooking that up. So, you did the last podcast with your
girl. Yes, absolutely. Shout out Magdalene as well.
Shout out DJ.
She has been a great help over, and I'll get into that a little bit more with my weekly check-in. I think you're starting on the weekly check-in, but I'll get into that a little bit with how much Magdalene has helped out so much with a lot of things. Not just the podcast last week, which if you listen to the podcast last week, you would know exactly what she helped with, which was the film. But yeah, why don't you start with your weekly check-in? How was your week last week? Really, a couple weeks.
Yeah, my weekly check-in is essentially my clean, but still a mess. Sure. It's damn near the same thing. The last couple weeks have been a shit show. One thing I think I can say, because it'll be out by the time this podcast is released, but your boy got the manager position at work, so that's tight.
So real quick, when is that going to be announced?
Tomorrow.
This podcast will be released tomorrow at 8 a.m.
Yeah, but who's going to listen to it? That's going to snitch.
There are some people that listen to this pretty early.
No, it's fine. Whatever.
I can cut that if you need me to.
No, we're good.
Cool.
We'll let it fly.
So, cool.
So we have that, and then we got approved for an apartment, and ended up not having any grass.
Right.
Shout out to Chris. Love my boy. Didn't check for that. He was like, yeah, I found this cool place. It had everything, and then there's no grass. And I'm like, I got a dog. Where the fuck am I going to walk him? So that didn't work out, but got a couple other options. I had to move out of my old place, so I'm couch surfing at the moment until we get a new apartment. But courtesy of what I can now expect to make with the new job, which is probably maybe a little bit more than what I'm making now, but it's consistent. Mm-hmm. So even if I have a down week in tips, I'll be all right, like as opposed to before. So that's cool. I've been able to start looking for places a little higher up. This is the most money I'm ever spending on anything in my life.
Right.
The one I'm looking at right now is like 2630 or something like that.
For you alone?
No, it's with Chris, but we had an agreed limit that he'd stay around 1,000 to 1,200. So I'm gonna take on the bulk of it.
So you're gonna be paying 15,
at least, yeah,
17 to 15 to 17.
Yeah. Because I made an agreement with him that we'd look for something cheaper, and I've just gotten impatient. I don't want to keep couch surfing.
No, I don't blame you, dude.
So, yeah, it's been a little bit of a stressful couple
nice
weeks.
Place,
it's been an extremely
27's a nice place around here.
It is. But, yeah, it's been an extremely stressful couple weeks. Been moving out. I still haven't finished cleaning out the old apartment, which means I'm paying late rent fees at the moment.
That is a good clean, but still a mess. I get why,
Oh, trust me. Yeah, we'll get into that one a little bit more. But, I mean, like all my shit, everything I own is in my car, on top of my car, or in my employer's office.
Mm-hmm. That's a problem. Well, not that one, but like just the
state of it.
State of it is
we're all over the place. My life is kind of in shambles at the moment.
Yeah,
but expected to be. We'll start putting the puzzle pieces together soon. Once I get a new spot, have a new job, or at least new responsibilities here.
Sure. Not a new job, but new,
new position. Mm-hmm. And, it'll be a good time. But it's been a wild couple weeks. Sure. And how about yourself? I feel like you're in a more, contained but similar situation. You've had a lot going on, man.
Dude, I've had so much going on. I've been crazy. So this, we just finished up production for the short film, Night Cook, which shout out Travis, who I'm not even going to say anything.
Shout out the worm.
The fucking man throughout the whole thing. What I was talking about was I'm not going to say anything, was that that dude's a fucking nutcase, but he's just the absolute man. Yeah. He's the absolute man, but he's just out of his mind.
The worm, dude.
The worm,
hell
dude. Yeah. And he's funny as fuck. And shout out him, and everybody that worked on that film with me. That would be Harrison, Bergamot as well. That would be I'm trying. I know one I'm trying to mention, and the reason I'm not mentioning him right yet is not because I haven't forgot his name. Is because I want to mention him last. I'm just making sure. Oh, Maya Wormwood, also Travis's wife. Shout out her. She helped tremendously.
Mrs.
Worm. And then the person I want to shout out last is Lee Small, who joined the team very last minute. Lee, we could not have done it without Lee. And I shouted him out on the last podcast, but I just felt you got to shout him out again. It was Madge said like she probably would have had a mental breakdown if he didn't help, because he was just absolute professional with everything. Just like last person to leave with us. He didn't have to stay.
Is it his first time doing it as well? Has he worked on a project like this before?
He went to film school, but he had never worked on. I don't know if he had ever worked on a set before.
Cool.
But he went to film school. He's a photographer by trade now, but he does like event photography for like high dive and shit.
Sick.
He's cool. He was with us, leaving at the last second type thing, helping to the last second load everything up, and I had to like tell him a couple times like, hey man, like you're good, dog. I appreciate your help. I'm not trying to kick you. I'm not telling you to leave, but like I just want you to know I feel bad like keeping you here because it's like midnight, and but he'd always be like, dude, no,
team player.
It's all absolute team player.
It's awesome.
Absolute team player. And one of the nights and he was also like really like, okay, so this just goes to show like what kind of guy the dude was. Is that he was like, one of the nights I gave him $20, and which is nothing. That's nothing, because it was like
he's been there all day.
He'd been there all day, yeah. And I didn't give anybody else any money that night. But I was just like, Lee literally was like there for every fucking thing, and he'd been there before. He was there before us. He was there after, like about the same time as us, and like it was just like holy shit, dude. So I just pulled out $20 that someone, I think Chris, shout out Chris, had given me for the film, and I was just like, this is exactly what this is for. He'd just given me cash because he didn't want the government to know, and that's exactly what he said.
Our boy Chris?
Yeah, that's exactly what he said.
My future roommate.
He said the exact quote was, I'm going to give you cash because I don't want the government to know about it. Which is fucking hilarious.
Which is wild because he literally sold his body to the government.
That's true, yeah.
He's a fucking Marine, dog. Yeah, his life is still signed away. If they decide to call him back at any time, I believe he has to go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be not good.
Have fun, bud.
Anyway, but
you know the podcast can't hear you wave, right? Dude, we better not go to fucking war. Trump better keep it nice and cool for a bit, because if he leaves and I gotta pay full rent,
that'd be brutal.
I'm gonna kill myself.
I think you could probably apply for the government to cover that. I would imagine.
I would hope so.
I would imagine. I mean, like, there's got to be something like, yo, my roommate's a fucking.
I'm not dealing with that.
That'd be crazy.
Speaking of, real quick, I got to tell you this story. On the way here, I stopped at a gas station. I go in. It's this dude, little kind of gothy looking dude, right? Going through some shit. So I said, hey, man, like neck tattoos, a couple tattoos under his eyes. I was like, buddy's been through the ringer.
Sure.
I said, hey, man, how's your day going? Trying to be nice. Oh, it's fine. I go, happy 4th of July. Day going all right? He goes, nah, man, today kind of sucks. I was like, well, I'm sorry to hear that. I hope it gets better. Yeah.
You're not supposed to be honest.
Yeah, like I didn't want that. But all right, fair play to you. I hope shit gets better. And he goes, yeah, I hope so too, because if it doesn't, I don't see the point in sticking around anymore.
Oh, no.
I was like,
dog.
why the fuck are you telling me this? I don't want to know.
Dude, what are you talking about?
I'm literally like, I'm carrying my kickstarts. I'm like in a good mood. I'm like, time to hit the 4th of July party. What's up, man? I got this energy about me. And I go in and I'm like, yo, let's go. Hey, I'm fucking excited.
Hilarious.
And then he's like,
that's honestly
I don't
hilarious.
see any reason to stick around. He's like, it's just, what's the point of being here? Is what he said. He goes, what's the point of being here if I'm just going to be miserable all the time? And I said, well, emotions are kind of something we get to choose. And he goes, I don't know, man, but I can't take this shit. Then he walked off before giving me my change, which was $1.48. And I just left. Wasn't
Wait, it was It was the cashier?
Yes.
That's so fucking funny.
And
was it the one over by...
No, it was up on... It's up under the overpass of where Santa Fe turns into 270 or 725. There we go. I got that right. So if you take Santa Fe straight up, it eventually turns into 25. Exactly if you stay off to the left, there's a little like Circle K under there.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah,
that's funny as fuck.
And the dude literally just walked off afterwards, and I'm like, my money's in. Okay, fuck it, I'm going to the party.
You know, maybe that guy could use it. Fuck it.
Go buy some fucking.
Maybe that guy will buy some weed instead of a gun.
What is it?
Maybe he'll buy a gun. I don't know.
Hopefully, he buys Prozac with it, not a gun.
Either way,
he'll get a solution.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Anyway, So anyway, we shout out Lee. You're the man. We went to we finished everything we needed to get done over the 5-day period of filming, and it was great. It went really well. Everything was tough. It was very tough, and it was a lot of work. But I think we put in 50 hours over the 5 days. Mm-hmm. And it was just like and that was the culmination of like easily 300 hours over the course of the last 6 months,
right?
But maybe as much as 400, like between 300, easily 300, but like could be as much as 400 hours between before the 50 that I put in for filming.
God damn.
Yeah. I put in...
I mean, you've been kind of working on this since you were still in school, right?
6 months.
Yeah.
Working on this for 6 months. I wrote the script, the first draft of the script in like February. But I also like started like researching for it in January. So it's just like, and really even December. But like, yeah, I've been working on it a long time. So it was definitely like one of those things where it was just like, this needs to get done.
Come to fruition.
Yeah, so and it did. And after that, I kind of took some time off, and we went and saw we saw Rattlesnake Milk open up for Charlie Crockett,
a favorite of this podcast.
A favorite of the podcast, Rattlesnake Milk. Shout out those guys. I want to get them on the podcast sometime. That would be sick. Rattlesnake Milk was an insane thing, and it may have been due to, because you could like, they played great, but you could tell they were very nervous, and the guy even said like, this may be the best day of my life, like he's on the stage, because like, you're opening at Red Rocks, his first time playing at Red Rocks. This is a legendary venue. It's I get it, like pretty crazy, but we were sitting in like the center bowl area, like the center, like row, like 13 rows up. Like, Madge and I had both taken acid, and like and just like literally, dude, I could feel with the guitar and the drums and everything, and the bass, I could feel my bones shaking. The way that center area.
I did see you after that.
Yeah,
your pupils were on.
I was pretty high, dude. I was pretty high, and I was. It wasn't like, I don't know. It was fun.
I asked you to think of something that night. I can't remember what it was. I was like, oh yeah. And you think about this, and you said, listen, forgive me, but I'm on a lot right now. I was like, oh, fair play. And you're like, wait, no. Oh, I had asked you to read the management stuff I had listed out.
Oh,
and you're like,
right.
I can't do this. I'm on too much right now. And you went, nah, fuck it, give it to me. Powering through. What a champ. That's heavyweight shit, dog.
Dude, when I was younger with like, because I explained to someone, I was talking to Madge today, and I was like, with weed, talking about weed, like I was like, look, like if you're gonna if you're gonna smoke weed and let it get to you, and then you're gonna be lazy, because it does does kind of kill your drive. But if you're gonna just be like, yeah, I just need to fucking smoke weed, I don't give a, I'm gonna keep doing what I'm gonna do. Yeah. It's like a superpower. It's like one of those things where I just like, I can just kind of be like, okay, I'm fucking kind of like what the way I use weed nowadays. And by the way, I don't condone this to anybody that this doesn't work for, but you know what I mean. Sometimes it works for you. And the way that my tolerance does, which is having smoked for fucking the last 15 years, is that it's like, I can kind of once I get to a point where I'm like I'm kind of burning out for a sec. I take a break. I smoke a bowl. I hang out for 5 minutes. I get back to it. If you just you got to push through. You got to push through the fucking the laziness factor. Anyway,
smokers and stoners with a small amount of rage against the world or like internal rage are some of the most productive people I've ever met in my life.
I think it's all to do with I think it's the drive of what I think it's how much you have to lose yourself. Because if it's like when I didn't have much to lose, but I at some point in my life once I realized like, oh shit, I have a lot to lose if I don't like move my ass, then it became. But I also like don't really want to quit smoking weed because I can't drink alcohol anymore. Weed takes the edge off,
right?
And that's another thing I guess I'm gonna say about in a second. And hold on, I'm gonna write. Cool. Make sure I take note of that. I don't know how to. I'll add to that in a second. But anyway, next topic. Yep. I'm blanking on it. But anyway, after the rattlesnake milk show, we went down to Madge and I went down to visit my parents down in southern Colorado, where they live, and that's where we recorded last week's episode. I got to show her around the area, which she had never been there before, and we went down to Silverton, and she bought me a cowboy hat, which I needed. It's over here. It's right here. Hold on.
She's party.
It is pretty. It's very nice. I also got this pin here that says the 49er. It is the railroad that went through my hometown.
Nice.
Isn't that pretty cool? Yeah.
Did it go through? Ooh.
Check it out.
Does it go through Silverton? I'm going to take these headphones off.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
She's snug, dog.
Isn't it nice?
Yeah, I feel like
Buffalo nickels.
Feel like a real American.
Right? That's why I wore it
God bless
today.
the USA, brother.
I wore it today. By the way, today is 4th of July.
Happy 4th, motherfuckers.
Happy 4th, everybody.
Don't blow your fingers off.
Don't be...
Or do, and get into a news story. That's your quick 15 minutes.
That's not what I want my 15 minutes of fame to be. You know what I mean?
I don't know. It might be cool. You're doing an interview, and they're like, how are you getting by without your, part of your hands? You go, well, the fingering's been a challenge, but, we're finding ways.
Shoving a finger up my ass has been a problem lately, but I just got a butt plug.
But you go, I'm finding new prosthetics, and, you get to talk about that for a while. I think that's cool.
And you would be surprised what they can do with prosthetics now.
Yeah, you have no idea how advanced these things are. The dexterity on these fingers, brother, let me tell you.
You think, I mean, I was a finger in my asshole my whole life. And it's hard to reach up there. Mm-hmm. Not with these motherfuckers. They extend. They curl. Do you know how fucking deep you can get with an extendo finger?
You want to know something else? No matter how hard I've tried, this finger don't vibrate, brother. I've tried holding on to my phone and calling myself. Don't work. Mm-hmm. You gotta get a mechanical.
I respond to that like a black woman in a Baptist church. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yes, Lord.
Oh, wow.
Praise Jesus. Hallelujah, baby. That's what I'm talking about.
Anyway, we went down there.
Shut up, black women in Baptist churches.
Absolutely not. Baptist churches are fucking awesome.
Black Baptist women are legitimately the best people I've ever met in my life.
Some of the nicest.
You say
best cooks. And
life's so hard. Everything's been taken from me. Fucking my car broke down and I can't get to work, so I lost my job. My whole family died because they were driving out to pick me up. And they go, it's okay, baby. Jesus got you.
No,
you just got to pray, baby.
You just got to pray, baby.
This is all part of the Lord's plan. You're going to be all right. I promise now. Yeah, and you're like, all right, I guess so.
That's thanks.
Really optimistic.
Yeah, so that is, we just got back a few days ago, and then it's pretty much right. I took a few days off still from there, thank God, because I was exhausted. And then back to work.
All right, so now what's the messy part, brother?
The messy part, clean but still a mess. So I definitely went up to my front. I mean, I've talked many times about the Oh shit, I forgot about another one too. I did 2 pretty fucking crazy things here in the past week. The apartment, the problems with the apartment complex people have been getting out of hand. So okay. I've had, this is, and if there are any attorneys that listen to this podcast.
This is the 3rd time we've asked for legal help on this podcast, dog.
Just for the same stuff?
One was for my apartment issue.
Okay, well, this one is that I had German cockroaches in my apartment since November.
Yeah.
And I've let them know 4 times, and they've never done anything about it.
Those things fucking suck.
Well, dude, yeah. And they don't do anything about it. They've never come and done anything about it. Yeah. And it's like, I don't understand what's going on. So, I had to go. I went and yelled at them. Because if you're not gonna fucking respond to my thing, I'll just have to go in and take this into my own hands. So I went down to the fucking office and I just yelled at them. I was like, "You guys are fucking me over. You guys owe me money." And they fucking left a note on my door saying if I did anything like that again, they'd ban me from going up to the front office, which is hilarious. Dude. That's so funny, dude. That's so funny, dude.
Sir, it's going to be email only.
Dog, it's like, what are you even talking about? It's like, at that point, I'm just going to trash this place and let it fucking rot. I'll move over to that one.
Just go right next door.
Yeah, next door, dude. She moved out.
For legal reasons, that's a joke.
Yeah.
We would never intentionally trash an apartment.
No, absolutely not.
No, but if it is trashed, it's because of the cockroaches. They have minds of their own.
Dude.
It's been years of development, and now they're capable of destroying everything. Don't blame Andrew. Blame the German cockroaches.
Exactly. Anyway.
It's weird that they march in lines, though.
Sure. Yeah, that is weird. And do little weird salutes.
Where are the crumbs?
Where are the crumbs? If you do not have the crumbs, I will stick you in an oven. Mm-hmm. Jesus Christ, I don't know. Anyway. Yes. So the other thing I did was the same guy that I threw the egg at a while back. Mm-hmm. Appeared back in the fucking thing, and parked again worse actually this time. He somehow parked worse this time, and so I left a note on his car. I didn't take a picture of it. Probably should have. I didn't write it in my handwriting. I put it in. I can do a bunch of different handwritings. I'm pretty good at forging shit.
I write everything in all caps now, so when I want it to look like somebody else's handwriting, I write in lowercase.
Yeah,
so there's no comps. Can't find anything I own.
No, I'm pretty good at like just making a different handwriting, mm-hmm. And so I wrote it in like different handwriting, and I bet it was pretty fucked up what I wrote, but it was like the gist of it, the very first thing I said was like, "Dear asshole, people who park like you deserve to be shot," and like just like, dude, it just like, and I was so mad for like 20 minutes, and then I was just like, I forgot about it for like until literally just now.
Never got anything back from him.
No, he did not park there anymore.
I feel like strike 3 is tires.
That's exactly what I told Magdalene. Yeah. That's exactly what I told Magdalene.
Speaking of tires, shout out to season 2. That show's fucking awesome.
I haven't seen season 2 yet, but it is a very funny show.
I shit myself laughing.
It's funny. Did you really?
No.
Okay, that's funny. But yeah, so that's been my clean but still a mess. I'm still a fucking lunatic. Mm-hmm. But I think lately I've been justified in my reaction. Maybe not action. Yeah. Maybe not action, but reaction. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I got it.
Because those are two different things. Mm-hmm. The reaction.
No, I understand. The
reaction of being pissed, of being like actually livid about this situation, is both of the two situations mm-hmm. is legitimate. It's a legitimate thing. Methodology could use some work.
There we go. Waiting for that. That was a long pause.
Yeah, otherwise it's going to be something along the lines of... Yeah,
probably something like bingo.
I probably should not do anything along the lines of weird things. Or just it's going to be them fucking not allowing me to go to the front office. Mm-hmm. Which, honestly, fuck those guys. Anyway.
Fuck them.
Fuck them, dude. You restrict my access, I'll fucking leave it. Never mind, I'm going to say anything.
Yeah, leave that one off record.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Anyway, how about you? How about you dive into your little clean your week?
Yeah. So when I moved out of my apartment, one of the things I am absolutely worst at in life, like genuinely, I've had a couple of friends in the past that were somewhat similar to this. The only person comparable to me now, the only person comparable to this that I know of now is my current manager or owner, Ryan. Shout out the boy. But when it comes to setting expectations of how long something will take.
Oh my God, with Ryan.
Yes, and I'm like that.
Love you to death if you're listening.
Mm-hmm.
But goddamn,
and he knows it. He's aware. But like if I say I'll be there in 20,
and I know to take that into account now when he asked me to do things. But like at first,
he says, hey, sometime next week, probably Monday or Tuesday, I'm gonna need your help. Maybe I'll set aside time on Sunday of the following week.
Well, yeah.
It's like that consistently.
Well, no, even like with like when I've like helped out with the bar.
Oh yeah, and he's like
it'll take an hour and a half, 3 hours later.
Right.
It's like all right, well.
So I'm like that really bad.
Yeah.
So I didn't do really jack shit until about a day before I was supposed to be out of the apartment.
Oh, that's a problem.
Because I don't have a ton of stuff, and I was like, look, everything else,
it is also a pain in the ass to get everything on. And
I was like, I'm just gonna fucking throw it out. Like most of the stuff I had that I brought with me is still in its box, and like the desk stuff I had, I'm like, I'll just swipe it all into a box. Like I don't give a shit. It doesn't have to be like stacked.
You had more stuff than you thought you did, didn't you?
I had more shit in my house than I thought I did. Like there's just, I've been a lot better about it than I was before, but it's still not saying much. I mean, I just been in a fucking awful headspace, and as a result, my house is a mess.
Sure.
There was stuff, and there was like fucking stuff I hadn't thrown out, and there was all this stuff in the kitchen I just kind of shoved away and I forgot about. And in the process of moving out, two things happened. One, I could not get to clean. So the apartment is still not ready to be returned, which means I'm currently paying $75 a day every day that I don't get out of that apartment.
Oh.
Even though I'm living in it.
That's a problem.
I was supposed to be out on the 30th.
75, you said?
Yeah.
That's better than I thought you said initially.
So it's like about $2,200 a month is what they're charging me right now on the day rate.
That sucks.
Yeah. And I still haven't been able to get all my shit out. And the whole idea of me staying with somebody for a couple of weeks in between was to have an extra paycheck.
Yeah.
So that defeats the purpose of that.
That does defeat the purpose of that.
Because yeah. So that was retarded. Part two was because I then got into a frenzy and just started throwing away a bunch of like small personal items I had. Like, I had this old organizer and these little boxes I was using to store shit, and a bunch of pens and markers and like old medals and shit. I was like, fuck it, I don't need it. Get rid of it. I also may or may not have thrown out my Social Security card.
No, you didn't, dude.
I did.
Oh no, you can get one of those again, but you gotta go back to Florida to get that, or wherever. No, you were born in fucking Jersey, weren't you?
I was born in Jersey.
Oh no, dude.
And
that's a problem.
So,
I guess it's a good thing you got a job.
Yeah. Plane tickets aren't going down exactly, but.
Well, no, but at least you have a job. Like that's what you need a Social Security card for. Like that's like most of the time at least. I mean, you would need it to get your.
I think I can get it through the mail.
Colorado, you don't have that, but
I believe Social Security cards you can get through the mail if you send in your documents. The only problem is.
All right, sorry about that. We had to get Amy Dog out of here.
Yeah, I think you can get it through the mail. Let's hope.
That would be a rough one, dude.
Because otherwise, I got a lot of family out in Jersey I ain't seen in a while. Maybe I'll go pop in on those motherfuckers.
I suppose.
You know what they'll say? They'll go, oh my God, it's been so long since I've seen you. You got fat as fuck. Like, what up, baby?
Yeah.
But it'll be a good time.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's all I got.
Well, I mean, I suppose if, the idea is that plane tickets are too expensive, I wouldn't be too opposed to a road trip out there. I haven't been out to that part of town, or that part of the country.
Dude, I'll be honest, the part of Jersey I'm from There's a lot of cool areas. I've always enjoyed going back there.
I hear Jersey's like one of the most rural areas in the...
So I wouldn't say it in that regard, but like...
Well, I mean, doesn't it have like the most black bears per capita or something?
It could very well, but the thing about Jersey that's cool is that at least where I'm from, which is like the near Philadelphia area, and then I have family in like closer to Wildwood and Cape May, which is on the water.
Oh, nice.
All those areas have like suburbs that are very much ingrained into their surrounding nature. Like, I didn't grow up in those types of suburbs. I grew up in way more like concrete style suburbs where there's a couple undeveloped areas. But like out there, it's like, you know, driving through subdivisions, you're going through the forest. You know what I mean? And so it's all kind of intertwined together very well. You hear that?
What was that?
I don't know. It sounded like a mini gong. But regardless, it's really cool. It's cool to see it ingrained like that. So, we'll figure it out. Now, I think it's time we get to the fucking meat and potatoes of this goddamn episode.
Meat and potatoes. Yeah, so this week it's being 4th of July, and we decided to talk about freedom. The listener question that we chose to use,
which thank you for holding off. We've had this one in the vault for a minute now.
Yes,
finally found a good time to use it.
Yes, we decided to use this one, which was, I've always struggled with knowing the difference between having healthy control over my life and actually being controlling. How do you guys tell the difference between real freedom and just trying to control everything around you? Have you found that letting go of control gave you more freedom, or does it just feel like chaos? And I think I added this right to the bottom of it, which was, how has your definition of freedom kept evolving?
Sweet. Shout out Haley in Oklahoma.
Shout out. Anyway, back. Yeah, so how does your definition of freedom keep evolving? Yeah.
Okay, I'll kick off here. The first thing is that I think that this is one of those instances of like the English language being a little limited. I feel like freedom is a relatively wide topic.
It's a broad
term. There's very nuanced definitions and uses of freedom. And I had a long thought the other day about like the idea of free spirits, and like that many people who seem free of the kind of constrictions that many other people find themselves held down by are a lot of times people that have very little grounding in their life. And so there's a trade-off there of like, it's almost like, think of some of the drug addicts that are couch surfing and homeless and kind of hopping around. They're not limited to anything. They have the freedom to kind of go wherever they want because they're, again, they don't have a fucking 9 to 5 they have to show up for.
Sure, free spirit.
But they're sucked down by the fact that they are a slave to their substances, and you know what I mean? These things in their life.
Not free.
Exactly. And so healthy control and being controlling, the distinction there isn't, I think, about the level or quote unquote amount of control. I don't think quantifying it is the way to go. It's qualifying it and saying like, what things are you trying to control? Because if you're trying to control your perception of everything at all times, then what is freedom worth? Because you're still a slave to your own worldviews, right? You don't have the balance to be able to see things with a broader perspective.
Wait, are you saying, in what regard are you talking? I may have missed something.
In the question, it talks about like the difference between healthy control and being controlled.
Sure, yeah.
So it's like, I don't think it's about how much you're controlling. It's about what it is. Right. And so if you're trying to control your worldviews and your perspectives and your emotions at all times, you never find freedom. You'll never find the peace within your spirit.
The same goes for, we've talked about this a few times now about what I wrote on your men's mental health board. We've talked about it a few times off air, but I was thinking with your perspective, with the perspective of yourself as opposed to others, and even your perspective of others can keep you not free. Like I had wrote on, Jay had made a men's mental health board at That's Kava, which I had posted on our podcast Instagram. If you've seen that, anyone seen that? But one of the things that I wrote on it was, if you control your perspective, or sorry, did I use the word perspective? Or
if you control your perspective of yourself, others will follow.
Oh yeah, the perspective of others will follow.
Is perspective or perception?
Perception. It was perception. Okay. If you control your perception of yourself, the perception of others will follow. Mm-hmm. And I think that I liked that. I was. I don't know where I was going with it, but it was just like.
Well, I think the way it plays in is that like, the controlling your life, again, should be more in how you're limiting or setting boundaries to your reactions or to your identity. Mm-hmm. And in doing that, if you can have that small amount of control over your own ego, then you're not as focused on what other people think of you. And in nature, you become more free and true of self.
Sure.
And then other people will start, kind of responding with that.
Right,
but yeah. I think most of like the freedom when it comes to the individual level, the agency in your lives, comes from two things. One, removing the attachment to outcomes. Yes. So not having this expectation that things are going to go well. You got to get rid of that. It doesn't mean you can't still have goals.
Right.
But to assume that everything is going to go your way at all times will leave you fucking fueled by rage.
Well, like, yeah, because it's not always going to go your way. Mm-hmm. Almost always is not going to go your way. You have to, yeah.
And so that's the first thing. And then the second thing to true freedom is being competent and able to do other things in your life. Essentially having a wide skill set. So like freedom of the body, right? This is something I've been struggling with.
Oh, yeah.
My freedom to do certain things is limited. I can't go on a long hike. I got too big. I don't exercise. And so what you control is your habits. And all right, well, I'm going to go start going to the gym. And now you've expanded your ability to do things. And in expanding your ability, you expand your agency. If you want real freedom in life, it doesn't come from not caring in entirety. It comes from being able to do something, and then you get to decide whether or not you care. That's the freedom. Mm-hmm. Is that for certain people who are like, well, I don't give a fuck. I'm not going to be a slave to the rat race. I don't give a shit. And they live the kind of hippie life of, you know what I mean, kind of looking for small money. Well, the person who's decided to dedicate time and make money now has that ability for the rest of their lives, or at least in large part.
I had to learn that myself.
And for some people, they don't have the choice. They've convinced themselves they do. Mm-hmm.
Well, I definitely am the type of person that's like, I don't like the idea of like a slave to the rat race. I believe in that, like that I don't want to be that myself. But instead of like, because of that, I'm just gonna drop out and fucking do drugs, which I did for a little while. Mm-hmm. But I realized eventually, like, okay, I think that's probably not the way to go about this. I think I have to like figure out something within the world, but that is of the world. That's like, that helps other people in the world. So and now it's like I mean, I'm still, still struggling to make money over at Crucible Media. We'll figure that out. But it's just started, so I'm not real worried about it yet. But it's I don't think I'm at the moment going to be a slave to the rat race.
Well, but you went back to college too,
and I had to go back to college to figure that out. But right. I don't think that my time in college was necessary. I mean, necessary, yes, for me to figure out what I needed to do,
and it formed the structure.
But it may have. I always say that. Well, it definitely added to it. It definitely added to it.
I'm not as much a believer in the rat race thing. Okay. In fact, I was kind of being critical of that point of contention. I think it makes sense in regards to the aimlessness that exists within a lot of people. We have a few friends like this that we've talked about, where it's like if you're just working retail jobs and you have no plan of increasing your education or finding something that you are capable of, then now you're a slave to making just enough to get by. You'll never have any kind of freedom of movement in your life because you've never really committed to one thing to a point that could get you somewhere. But for most people, the 9 to 5, if they have a plan or they have an education in something, they have a career field that they're really good at, and there's a high ceiling there, I don't see that as the rat race. It's climbing the ladder, and that's what life is.
I guess so, but the way I see the rat race is as working for somebody else's dream.
I mean, but this is the kind of the thing I thought a lot about.
I think there's a difference in working because you have to. And working, if you're working like if you're working in something specifically, and I kind of, I guess I'm speaking to my own field.
Mm-hmm.
When I looked at like okay, I'm gonna go get a job at some media company and look at that. When I eventually decided not to, which was not anything to do with that, it was eventually decided to do with the fact that I realized very strongly that I had a problem with authority and I couldn't do it. But I realized that I was like, if I jump into this and start working for this, I may get lost in this and based by the money, and money may be too good and I may not be able to quit it. I'm therefore trapped in this situation where I'm working for somebody else's dream and not working on my own.
Right, but your issue with authority is the reason you can't compartmentalize work from the rest of your life.
Sure.
And this is the first time. I mean, you think in 100 billion people that have lived through our society, through human history, not through our society, but through human history, there's 100 billion roughly that have lived and died. There's maybe 1 billion to 2 billion of those that are in the position that you and I are in, where we have grown up in a society that was like, oh, do what you love and like figure out what it is you like to do and do that.
Yeah, everybody else throughout human history has been like,
you work because you have to work.
You do what your father did.
If you get good at what you do, then again, you have this freedom of movement. And that to me is part of the getting rid of the expectation. Like management is not necessarily it's not my dream in life.
No,
But if I'm good at it and I can make money with it, and I can get to a point that it allows me to open up limitations.
I think there's a difference of, and I guess I was, like I said, I was
like 95% of our society will never work for their own dream.
Well, no, and that's okay. I guess that's where I kind of was trying to speak into it. It was like, I guess currently I am trying to work for my own thing.
Right, and that's sick. It's awesome.
Well, no, it is. Yeah, it is sick, but it's also like, it's its own amount of work.
Right, and it's got its own challenges and its own risks. And for some people, like the freedom in life that they want, like for most people that are in like the kind of suburban life that live good lives and they're happy and they want their focus is their family and their kids and their friendships, and they work a job that, I mean, the reason we have a 9 to 5 is not because corporations were like, oh, how can we fuck people over? It's because how
can we work these people less? Actually,
well, it was 150 years of workers vouching for labor laws.
Yeah,
it was. We used to work 14-hour days in coal mines and fucking like blue collar jobs where crops got to get picked. Yeah. You're up at 4. You'll pick till 7. It doesn't matter. You got to get it done. And then we kept arguing, and then we got, all right, well, now we're factories, so now we're on 12-hour, 6-day shifts. Yep. Okay, well, fine, let's get that down. And we got to a point where now, like, for most people, the freedom that they want in life and the freedom of movement means that they have time with their kids, and they get to go see their kids' soccer games.
Yeah,
and you know what I mean? They get to go on a date night with the people
that's
they love.
One of those things. And if I had kids right now, which beyond what I already, my situation with that, I would feel much different about this,
right?
Because I would.
That's where freedom is perspective
based. I acknowledge that because it is. My freedom that I have is based on my life situation at the moment.
Right. So it's like, what kind of freedom are you looking for? Is the control you need in your life over your habits, so that like if you want the freedom to go fucking rock climbing and I want to go check this out and I want to be able to go, okay, well now the things you need to control are the habits that allow you to do that, whether it's working out and practicing the rock climbing. And if your thing is, well, I want to travel, okay, well you need money, so it doesn't matter what the fuck you're doing, right? Like your dream is to travel, it's not your work, right? So in that instance, the rat race is great. Go make a bunch of money and then go travel.
Yeah, and also
and now it funds your lifestyle. If your dream is to create something, if your dream is to be an artist, then you know what I mean. It makes sense that you're now the thing you have to control is how you make that happen, and you've done that. So that's where I think like the aspect of the question being, what is healthy control over what's actually being controlling? It's relative to what kind of limitations you want in your life that are acceptable, because everybody has to compromise. What limitations will you accept for the thing that fuels the lifestyle you want? If it's quality time, then you may want to go find a job that's got a 4-day work week and you work real hard and you have enough money to spend those other few days off. That may be great for you. And if it's not, then you find something that's got more flexibility to it.
I mean, like you had said, there's just so many different. The freedom is one of those words that is limited by the English language, because it's very much like, I mean, I guess there's a couple different versions of the word freedom in our society. Like liberty, involves freedom. It's kind of a connotation to freedom or whatever. You know what I mean? Like it's definitely like a form of freedom. And, you know, it's I think my own personal definition of freedom, even it just in terms of my own life, I had to, in order to get to a point of freedom in my own life where it was even just freedom over the way that I'm living, and that takes you have to have quite a bit of situations go right in order to find the freedom in order to of your living. You have to have your your financial situation under control, at least enough to be not out of control. If you don't have it totally in control, you can still find a way to live free without. But you just but you can't have it in complete disarray and expect to be in control.
Correct. And for our situations of substance abuse, which freedom meant discipline, and it meant finding the right rehab. And that's what we had to control, right?
That was 100% with a freedom part. For me is I needed to find discipline, which then therefore gave me freedom. In the fact of I haven't drank in 2 years now, and it's like if I hadn't done that, I honestly don't think I'd be alive. But it's given me the freedom to do so much more creatively. And I always thought to myself, like, and it's anybody that has ever had this thought of like, if I quit drinking, I'm just not going to be as good of an artist, or I'm not going to be as good at whatever it is, or I quit drugs, I'm not going to be as good at this. It's like I think it's just not that way.
Right, and I'm guilty of you let control of, right? Like you stop trying to control the outcome there.
Right, yeah, and I think I am guilty myself of still kind of being that way a little bit with, especially with the weed, and even with like the kava and the kratom and stuff. But it's like and by the way, I'm gonna mention something else. I don't like calling myself sober, and I mentioned there was somebody, I'm not gonna mention who, because I'm actually, there's no way they listen to the podcast. Fucking Becca. Literally I got so mad at me the other day for, I said, I was talking with someone, I can't remember who. I was talking with somebody out back of Kava, and I was telling him, about the podcast. I was like, yeah, but I try not to like say like I'm sober, because like I'm not. I just don't drink alcohol. I still smoke weed, and I still drink Kava and kratom. And she goes, I'm sober. And I look down, and she's got a kratom in front of her. And I was just like, okay. Right. Word. Whatever you say. And then she was like, and so I was like, okay, like, I won't tell you what to like think about yourself, but like, you are lying to yourself. Yeah. And she just got like super mad and fucking.
And I think that it's just like, it's a lot of those communities just heavily emphasize that word so much that like, to not be sober is viewed as, you know what I mean, less or something. It does, but it's really like does. It's like, this is harm reduction. You found something that's productive for your life.
No, absolutely. But there's nothing wrong with that. But like, get it right. If you're
drinking something every day that's an opiate agonist and it is giving you a like, no, it's not sobriety. It's not sobriety. It's mind altering.
It's not sobriety, dude.
But yeah, one thing I wanted to get back to about this question, the last part, was just, have you found that letting go gave you more freedom, or does it feel like chaos? Letting go specifically of control. And I think that everything we've talked to kind of covers this, but to boil it down, it's what you decide to let go of, right? Like if you let go of, you know what I mean, your self-discipline, of your responsibilities, yeah, it's going to be straight chaos. I've done it 1,000 times. I've stopped giving a fuck about certain shit, and then all of a sudden, my life's in chaos. And now I'm currently picking up a lot of the fucking pieces I dropped in the process, and trying to start to
picking up some pieces that I dropped.
Yeah, like I'm rebuilding now. Of like, all right, well now I got to get in shape, and I got to go fix all my fucking teeth, and I mean I got to take care of all this shit.
Out, dude. At least you figured it out pretty young.
But the letting go of the control over what you expect something to be, of who you think you are, or of what your identity needs you to be, or of what people's perception of you is. Letting go of those things does become very freeing, and it doesn't mean that you're not still free of criticism or free of judgment, but you are free of the burden of having to like incorporate that and internalize the way that
you feel about yourself
every single time it happens. Like there are certain things that I don't really give a shit about anymore, and now like people can fuck with me and it doesn't really get to me too much. Where I know at the end of the day, like I got to get certain shit in check, but that's between me and myself. I don't need you to tell me that. And because I know that I have a certain level of self accountability now, which took a while to build, I feel like I have a limited freedom there, which is the thing you got to control that aspect and do the process, whether it's therapy, journaling, or fucking spending time doing shit, working under someone, going to fucking apprenticeship, find a mentor. Any of those things that allow you to build up those skills, then you don't need it.
Having bad experiences, even like having, and not like I don't mean like traumatic experiences per se. I just mean like going on dude, I can't tell you how many times I've learned about how to like behave around people by having a bad experience with somebody, whether it be from their perspective, like, oh shit, I know as Andrew, I really fucked up in that experience with somebody. Or whether it be, wow, that person really fucked up in that experience. I should take that into account in my own life. And, like, it's that type of thing. I forgot where I was going with that. But, it's the idea of letting go of freedom, the letting go of control certainly gives you more freedom. Because it's
all about what it is.
It's all about, yeah. Absolutely, and it definitely doesn't feel more like chaos. I think it probably can at first, where the idea of like you're holding the balloon of what is control, the idea of control, and just letting it go. That can feel like chaos of just the action of like letting it go. But as soon as it's gone, that is inherently the idea of control is inherently chaos.
Right. However, letting go of the steering wheel is also chaos. It's what you let go of, right?
Right. It's not letting go of the steering wheel of what you actually have control over, which is what you can do next, what you can do for your life, what the next right thing that you can do. You have control over that, but the idea of control that you have control over everything, every aspect of your life, how people see you, how people treat you, all that stuff, you don't have control over that. And because you're someone that treats you poorly one day could just be having a fucking bad day, dude. And like,
the gas station was.
Yeah, he was having a bad day, dude. He was having a real rough day, dude. And if you had taken it into like, man,
damn, I was just trying to be nice.
Is
it me? Why is he fucking upset?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. It's just like then that doesn't solve anything. That keeps you chained to the idea of like, this is my problem.
Agreed.
And it's yes, to break down to the point, let yourself be free, fly like an eagle.
Fly like an eagle.
All right, to the sea. Anyway, okay, so I think we're gonna move on to the next topic here. How has nobody heard of this? Which I think we should stick with, instead of how am I just hearing of this? Which I mean, I think it can flop back and forth.
Yeah, we'll figure. 'Cause some of this shit I'm just figuring out.
Yeah. How has nobody heard of this? Do you want to start, or do you want me to?
I'll start.
Okay.
How I'm gonna go with how have I never heard of this?
Sure. Yeah.
Do you know they get to call your former apartment complex when you're applying to a new place?
Did you know that they call them?
Yeah, they can call them back for a referral.
Yeah.
And then deny you if you had late payments.
I
never heard of that. I was gonna look for something more inspiring, but it's been on my mind a lot the last few days. That's not a good one.
That's not a good one. That's not that it's just hearing of it. That's not that. It's the.
How have I never heard of this?
How have you never heard of that?
No, I don't know. I also a couple of things that I don't know tie as well into this topic, but with that men's mental health poster, there were a few things where it was the things I wish I had heard growing up. And the best compliment I ever received, those were 2 sections on it.
My best compliment I ever received was the best one on there.
And I would really suggest, I don't know if we made a post about it or was it just on the story?
Just on the story.
Maybe we'll make a post about it.
I would do that later.
So I would suggest you check it out. I'm not going to go into detail.
I'll do that later.
There was a lot of those that I saw and things I hadn't really thought about from my own perspective that really broke me down. I mean, that poster's made me very emotional a few times I've read it. So yeah, if you want to know
there's definitely a lot of men at that place that are
going through it.
Number one, not even just at that place, but in general, everywhere. There's a lot of men out there that are fucking really struggling, dude. And it's like, I mean, I hope that whatever we're doing here with this can help anybody. But if it is helping anybody, reach out to us.
Please do.
It'd be nice to talk. But yeah, that's we'll do a post of that on the Instagram. sometime soon.
What's yours?
Treating people with common decency. This is both a mix of mine and theirs. Mm-hmm. How have I never heard of this? How have they never heard of this? 5 months without fucking... Oh, that was a firework. 5 months without fucking treatment for this place. That's not common decency. This is a big apartment complex bullshit. This is BlackRock bullshit, dude. That's who owns this fucking building. Is BlackRock, and it's like, anyway.
I love that both of ours were just an extension of this shit that's pissing us off.
Pissing me off, dude. But I mean, also, I
agree.
That at the same time, my how has nobody heard of this can probably go with what I said about Becca. Mm-hmm. How have you not heard of
the definition of the word?
Well, some people also, like, that's taking away from people that really are truly sober.
Yeah. There are a lot of places that don't allow the stuff that we involve with, you know.
You
go to like a UA.
I mean, like you're talking about like Julian's like sober house that they were living on. Like they were not allowed to have kratom.
Nope, no weed.
No weed. No, I mean,
gets away with the kava,
among other things.
Yeah, that's
neither here nor there.
Let him be.
I'm gonna say
whatever is allowing them to live their life, I'm happy with.
That's what I feel. That's what I feel. Is whatever's allowing you to like live your life, just allow that. But
call it harm reduction.
There are hard lines where it's like, yeah, call it harm reduction. Exactly. There are hard lines. No alcohol, no heroin, no coke, no crack, crack's but no meth. Probably ketamine's a questionable one. I love a good little K, but. At the same time, it is definitely not sober. Anyway, we're going to move on to the next one here. We got our last segment here before we get out of it. We're actually doing pretty good on time, all things considering. We're doing pretty good, over an hour.
Good.
Song of the week. I will start this one, and I just saw this guy, Rattlesnake Milk opened for Charlie Crockett, by the way, that show was a whole thing, because like there was this first it was Rattlesnake Milk, this like raw, authentic, powerful set of like 6 songs, so it wasn't very long at all. And then this band called Chaparral came out, which was like a fucking honky tonk Dallas band that was like it was just some chick that was, I don't know, but anyway, Chaparral was it called? Okay. Chaparral. It wasn't Chaperone. I think I know who that is at least. I've heard of
Pony Club.
Sure, yeah. It wasn't that. It was
Queen of the Gays.
It was some fucking like honky tonk band from Dallas.
Not your thing.
And like, well, not my thing, dude. Like it's not that it's not my thing. I actually kind of like that stuff sometimes, but like, they weren't even like the chick had a tambourine. Mm-hmm. She wasn't actually playing it. She was hitting it like this, like not even kidding, like this. Like you hit it like this, right? Hit it against your hand. It's like a foot away, and we're like, it's on the big screen. We can tell that you're not actually playing this. And like I heard it from many people while we were just walking around. Because shout out Dawson and his girlfriend Madeline were with me and Magdalene.
Shout out Deeply.
And everybody was talking about it. Like, I don't think she's actually playing the tambourine. It was just like, yeah, it's like. But anyway, Charlie Crockett. He had a pretty good set. One of the songs I picked up there, it's on his new album, Lonesome Drifter. I think it came out like pretty recently. But it's called One Trick Pony. And there's a couple good lyrics in it. But I liked this particular line, or this particular verse in it, which was, I'm bound to tell the truth the way the gamblers rarely do. They be tying up your noose and calling you friend. If it was up to me, like the bluebird, you'd be free. Oh, if this life ain't what it seems, if you catch my drift. And to me that kind of means what we've been kind of talking about, which is like, if you listen to the song, it'll go deeper into it. I feel like it kind of, says that these people that are, the reason that I kind of believe in the rat race idea is that there are definitely, it's not all cases. It is not in all cases just because you're working for somebody else, just because you're finding yourself in somewhere doesn't mean you're a part of the rat race.
Doing something you
doesn't
hate
mean
that doesn't serve your life.
That is exactly what it is, and I think that is those people are tying up a noose and calling you friend. Oh, you're an important part of our company. We're value. And those people will replace you in 2 fucking seconds. Mm-hmm. And like
we're family.
You know, if it was up to me, like the Bluebird, you'd be free and be able to do whatever the fuck you wanted to, like everybody, you know, should be able to do. So that's my. It's a good song. It's a pretty good jam. It's got a good like kind of pick up to it. You know,
Sweet.
It's nice.
Okay, for mine, despite the fact that I listen to right now predominantly alt rock and still a good amount of hip hop and R&B, but I've been tossing around with a good amount of EDM lately. My favorite artist still of all time is Louis Capaldi. A little singer, real soft guy. It's poppy, a lot of piano. You know, he's a soft pop singer. Kind of in the not stylistically as much, but in the John Mayer category.
Sure.
But he's fantastic, and he had a new song that just released called "Survive." Dude took a couple years off. He had really bad Tourette's, and
oh no,
I guess he had like all the social anxiety. But you saw him kind of publicly start unraveling a little bit over the last couple of years. Yeah, and like starting having these really bad tics while trying to perform, and like had to end performances and shit. Dude went down a really rough rabbit hole. And then he took a couple years off, and now he's back.
Oh, good. Good for him.
Did a huge show recently. He's a very popular artist. But
back, like he's like doing good too.
Yeah, and I mean, he lost a bunch of weight.
Shout out Louis Capaldi. That's fucking awesome.
Yeah, he's fucking crushing it. And he had this song that he just released called "Survive." The first verse is fantastic. How long till it feels like the wound's finally starting to heal? How long till it feels like I'm more than a spoke in a wheel? Most nights I fear that I'm not enough. I've had my share of Monday mornings when I can't get up. But when hope is lost and I come undone, I swear to God, I'll survive. If it kills me, I'm going to get up and try. If it's the last thing I do, I still got something to give. And though it hurts sometimes, I'm going to get up and live. Until the day that I die, I swear to God, I'll survive. And the rest of the song follows the theme. But it's very much kind of where my headspace has been lately of, you know, finally starting to get back on track here.
Yeah, and you keep getting good on track.
A couple of years of rough place.
No, yeah, I get it.
And, yeah, I mean, it's a fantastic song. Very uplifting.
Sounds like pretty much what you're dealing with.
Mm-hmm. So
it's always good to find a song like that where you're...
mirrored where I was
kind of what I'm dealing with.
And I just looked him up, too, because I got Spotify, and I've been having to manually look up all the songs. Good. No, I'm going back to fucking Apple Music. I just forgot. I don't have a goddamn debit card, so my Apple Music got canceled.
Don't do it. I'm going to send you songs.
Fuck that. Well, you can still send me. I'll download them on Apple Music, but maybe I'll keep both.
Fucking lame, dude.
But I looked it up, and he just had a song come out, and it was this one.
Does Apple Music tell you when like the bands that you follow are in town?
No.
Well, there you go, dude.
I don't go to shows, so
you should.
We'll see. We'll see.
Shows are fun. I went and saw that show, and I think we also saw.
I did get tickets to go to a show with. Shout out my boy Tyler. We're gonna go see 1,000 Below.
I don't know who that is.
Hard rock.
Word.
Heavy shit. It's gonna be sick.
If I remember who that is, I think I do remember. I think I actually Tyler. Yes, no, I know who Tyler is.
Tall, skinny, legal boy. He'll help us out with our lawyer issues.
Word. He does seem like the type to be into that.
He is. Trust me.
That's cool. Word sounds like fun. Where's that show at? One of the many venues in town.
Now I gotta find out.
Yeah.
It's a word that it's like a fucking old. It's from a different language. It's one of those where like it pronounces weird in English, or it's spelled weird very differently from how it's pronounced. Hold on, we're gonna find out.
I mean, if you wanted to go to another show sometime, at the end of August, Madge and I and my cousin Ben, shout out Ben, we are gonna be going to see
Marquee.
The Marquee, yes. We're going down to Trinidad to go see Rattlesnake Milk.
In Trinidad?
Yeah, they're playing in Trinidad. No.
Trinidad and Tobago?
No. Trinidad, Colorado.
Oh, fuck that. I'm like, we're going down to Trinidad.
No.
Welcome, tell Rihanna to come home, baby girl.
Colorado? Huh? Have you been to Trinidad, Colorado?
No.
It's pretty.
I'm sure. I was like, oh fuck, we're taking a fucking
no, dude. But Rattlesnake Milk is playing a bar in Trinidad, and they're playing like a full set just by themselves. So we're going down to see them.
When is it?
August 29th.
We'll see. I might make that work.
Yeah, I'm going down for that, and they're also playing August 22nd in Grand Junction. We're trying to go see that too.
Cool.
Yeah. Only problem with that one is that we'll be just getting back from Billy Strings. We're going over to Bozeman to see Billy. That'll be awesome. Match bought pit tickets, and that'll be fucking amazing.
Happy graduation, baby girl.
Yeah, literally. Well, all right. Well, that is pretty much our episode for the week. It's been a fun time. Follow our Instagram. That's
Malfunction Junction Podcast.
Yep, and go ahead and email us
at malfunctionjunctionpodcast@gmail.com.
And also, we will post this in the link bio, or the episode bio, the link to donate to Night Cook. We could really use the funding.
Night Cook.
All right. We could use the funding because we are about to jump into post-production, which is the most expensive and the most tedious and the longest part of the whole thing. So if anyone would like to help us out with that, please do. Even if you don't want to help us out with that monetarily, please help us out with that by sharing it or something.
Yeah, if you have a rich uncle, tell them you have a friend that needs help.
Tell them you're doing it. Maybe it'll help more.
Good play.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, anyway, that's been enough for us. Everybody, we'll catch you again later.
Happy 4th of July.
Happy 4th of July. And goodbye.